Hey guys, my name is Perry Rockwood, and I'm Brother Rockwood, your teacher. I'm his brother, and I'm his youngest brother, and live in a place called Enumclaw, Washington. It's a small town, and it's really cool. I really like it, but he called me today and just asked if I could talk about an experience that I had with the baptism, and I thought it was really cool for him to ask me, so I'd just like to take a second to talk about it because it really impacted my life and also the life of the person I baptized. So I'm a senior this year at my high school, and this actually happened last year. I was at a girls' soccer game, and I met this girl there, and the reason why I met her is because I thought she was pretty cute, so I went up to go talk to her, and I was kind of really awkward at first. I didn't know what to say, and I don't know. It was just it was a weird feeling, and I didn't think it was gonna go anywhere, and somehow I ended up getting over my fear of talking to a cute girl, and we ended up hanging out that next weekend, and somehow the church was brought up, and I can't remember how it was brought up, but we were at her house, and she had had a friend who was a member of the church throughout her whole life, but I don't think he'd really talked to her about it. And so somehow the church came up, and I said, would you maybe want to come to church with me, just because she seemed like a nice girl and she wouldn't really turn down anyone. And she said yes. So that next Sunday, we picked her up and we went to church. And I think the first thing they talked about the first week she came was tithing. And I don't know if that's the best sacrament to have for a new convert to come, but for her it was, and she really felt the Spirit, and she went to Young Women's, and she said she loved it, and she loved the Spirit that they all had there. And so the missionaries asked if they could take her on a church tour that night. And we had been, before she came to church that first time, we had a week of lessons, so I think we had two or three lessons before she came to first Sunday. And we went to church later that Sunday, and we had a church tour with her, me and the missionaries. And we went into the sacrament. We went into the chapel, and we talked about the sacrament and the importance of it. And the Spirit was really strong, and it was really felt while we were there. And it got kind of quiet, and we were all just thinking about things. And one of the missionaries asked, what would you think about getting baptized? And I was really shocked at that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is her first time coming to church. She's taken 3 lessons. I just met this girl like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was like, what is this elder doing? Like, is he out of his mind? And she kind of sat there, and we all kind of looked around, looked at each other. And she said, I've been reading what you guys have been asking me to read, and I've been praying about it. And she says, in my gut, I feel like it's the right thing to do. And that was just amazing to hear that. And so I was really excited, and we set a baptism date for December, and this was in October. And so we kept having the lessons, and everything was going great. And it was time for her baptism to come, and her dad was not a big fan of it happening, and that was a kind of hard thing to do, to have him soften his heart a little bit. But through her praying and everybody else in the ward praying, it ended up being a good thing, and her dad and both of her grandparents and her mom ended up coming to her baptism. and we had all the youth in our ward be there, and it was a really, really cool experience. And I didn't think I was going to be the one baptizing her until a week before her baptism. The missionaries came up to me and asked me if I would perform the baptism. And at first I didn't think maybe I was in the right position to do that. It was a really big shock to me. And, you know, I was just an average high school kid, and I didn't know if I was ready enough to do something big like that. And it was kind of hard for me at first, but it ended up being a really, really great experience that I will never forget. As both of us walked into the font together, there was a certain kind of spirit that I felt that night that I've never felt before in my life. And it was just the most calming and peaceful feeling that I've ever felt. And so I said the prayer, and my knees were shaking, and I was like saying the prayer, and I was stuttering just because I was so nervous, because this is such a big deal. And I messed up the first time, so I had to redo it. And I kind of just said a little prayer in my mind, just saying, please, like, help me just say this right and do this the right way. And the second time I said it, it was perfect, and everything went really good. And we sat there and just hugged each other in the font, and it was one of the best, like I said, one of the best experiences I could have ever asked for. And it's really helped me with my own testimony. And so I walked out of the font, and I just lost it when I was changing to get back into my church clothes out of the baptismal clothes. I was just bawling like a little kid, and I just needed some time to sit there for myself and just really think about what just happened, and just that I was giving somebody the opportunity to have what we have and have what sometimes we take for granted. And I knew that she wouldn't do that because it was something she was looking so forward to in her life. And it really has changed her life. I've seen such a big improvement in her. She threw out all of her immodest clothing. She used to use bad language, but now she doesn't use it at all. She's changed her friends. She's now friends with some Mormon kids, and she goes to seminary every day, and she's the My Main's class president, and she's just doing great. It's just so great to see the improvement that she's had with herself and her standards. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to be a part in that and to perform the ordinance necessary for it to happen. And I don't know, I think that's just about it. But if I have to say one thing about this, I just say that you need to make sure you're ready to use the priesthood whenever you are called to do it, because when you do use it, it gives you more blessings than you could ever think or imagine, and it can also change somebody else's life and also your own. So there's a little bit of my story. There's much more to say, but I don't want to take all your guys' time. But hope you guys all enjoyed it and felt the Spirit as I did. So thank you.